The Chargers get the win over the Cleveland Browns. Jameis gets his first loss as the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. 27-10. Chargers move to 5-3. Browns fall to 2-7. Jameis kept throwing the ball to the defense.
Yeah.
For the second straight week. This time it was caught more often.
We tried to hammer this a bit coming out of last week. Listen,
we were overly positive. We were overly positive about Jameis Winston, and also brought up the fact that he could throw a bunch of interceptions as well.
But I did repeatedly make the point that just remember, as positive as this is, Jameis isn't good. It's an important point to make. He isn't good. And this game sort of reminded you that
he's a mid-tier, maybe lower mid-tier now, NFL quarterback.
Yes.
With high variance.
Lower mid-tier. I think that's accurate. That's the point.
I'm begging you really quick, and not to interrupt again, very rudely.
Yeah.
I'm just begging you to get off the black and white extremes of good and bad, and let's be a little more descriptive. Like Andres Pete, below average. Jameis Winston, lower mid-tier.
I am perfectly prepared to operate within the layers of gray between black and white, but Andres Pete is bad. I'm not accepting that as an argument that there's an area of gray in the middle between good and bad that Andres Pete exists in. Andres Pete is bad. End of story. Jameis Winston is not outright bad, but he isn't good. That's my point. So as impressive and as optimistic and as good as the feels were coming out of last week, the point that was repeatedly raised is Jameis isn't a cure-all. It's not all fixed, because Jameis Winston is perfectly capable of having a game like this one, where he just doesn't make a ton of the big plays, and he makes quite a lot of bad plays. And if they're all caught by the Chargers, you're not going anywhere. And by the way, even that was then made worse by the fact that Cleveland's defense just kept breaking down. The first two Chargers touchdowns were complete and total coverage busts.
I tried to make this point that the 2-year Browns defense is a fascinating case study. Remember in 2000, let's back it up really quick. In 2022, the Browns had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And every week we would come in here raving about Myles Garrett. It was like the tungsten arm thing. Myles Garrett has 9 pressures and the rest of the Browns have 4, one of those things. And last year, they added all this talent on the defensive line, became one of the best team pass rushes in the NFL. They were very good statistically, but then they would have these games where they would just give up a whole bunch of 50-yard touchdowns and 60-yard touchdowns, and there was busted coverages left and right. And it's we're trying to describe this a few weeks ago. The EPA per play isn't that good for the Browns, but the success rate's outstanding, right? So play for play, the Browns are good. They just forget to cover people every now and again. They just forget to, cover every gap in the run game or whatever it is. This game felt like that too, right? Myles Garrett's getting home. He's got 3 sacks. And then they just, leave Quentin Johnston open for a 66-yarder. So the Browns defense, just too many general coverage busts or guys getting beaten in one-on-one coverage or whatever it might be. And it just showed up again. Because again, play for play, they made a lot of big plays. They were in the backfield a lot on Herbert. They sacked Herbert 6 times. They just kept, also giving up wide open plays as well.
With really basic plays as well. It's not like they were facing things that they'd never seen before. I mean, the first Palmer touchdown coverage bust, that looked like a basic cover 2, and the safety just only focused on one of the threats. It's I'll take the inside guy, somebody else deal with the outside guy, and nobody did. So he just walked in for a touchdown. These are, they kept cutting to Jim Schwartz after each one of these breakdowns, and he's like, what the hell just happened? The defense coordinator is what?
Get coaching better.
So you put those two things together, right? The Browns defense had multiple plays where it just didn't bother to cover key receivers, and the offense was Jameis-ified and had the downside of Jameis in a game against, admittedly a very good defense. You put those two things together and you don't have a particularly close game.
Yeah, look, the Chargers offense does look more explosive in recent weeks. They got the big run from J.K. Dobbins that had been missing. He finally, wasn't a 60-yarder, but he broke out for a big run or two. And Justin Herbert playing better football these last couple weeks. I think as he's been healthier, we're seeing him take better care of the ball and create some of those big plays.
Cut out all the turnover-worthy plays that he had earlier in the season.
Yeah, and also the dink and dunk aspect of it, right? There's just more explosive plays from Justin Herbert. I just want to check his.
Which is admittedly aided by complete and total coverage busts.
It is. In this game. I'm just saying, like, the totality of the last 3 weeks, which includes a loss to the Cardinals, last week's game against the Saints, and then this week with the Browns, Herbert's definitely played a lot better.
Yeah, sure. But in this game in particular, like, the numbers are going to be skewed by complete breakdowns.
But he's throwing the ball down the field a lot more these last few weeks, generally, compared to previous weeks, and Chargers offense does look a lot better. From a Browns perspective, and look, the Chargers pass defense, as we've said, it's been one of the best in the NFL this year. And I made the statement last week where the one Chargers fan who watches us took offense. I said the Broncos might be the team to challenge the Chiefs, or at least maybe not for the division title, but to be the best competitor in the West. I may have been sleeping on the Cardinals a little bit because I was disappointed in their Monday night loss to the Cardinals a couple weeks ago. But the Chargers in a one-game setting still have these pieces in place to play hardball, right? To run the ball, and they're not having that stat line from Herbert where it's like 16 of 24 for $130. Like, they're getting some explosive plays, whether it's coverage bust or not. They're getting some explosive plays. So now that balance is a little bit better on offense, and it's been one of the sneaky good defenses with Jesse Minter coming in calling the plays.
Yeah, it has. Did you see their little rugby play before the end of the first half?
It's one of my favorite things is when I go on like I'm trying to bring something to the table here.
Yeah, you brought it.
I brought it.
Uh-huh.
And then you come back with, did you see the rugby play?
Yeah.
I'm over here. I'm trying to like put a bow on the Chargers, and they're standing in the league,
Very
and how
nice
they're
bow.
are they the second best team in the AFC West? And then you come back with, did you see the rugby play?
It's a very nice bow you put on it.
Thank you.
Did you see the rugby play?
I did not.
Okay, they did a kind of pitchy woo. And so Quentin Johnston takes the ball, runs all the way to the right side, and then they ran like an end around almost. Josh Palmer, I don't even know if this was designed, but Palmer decides to double back on him, like basically at the sideline, just pitches it to him. Palmer comes all the way back to the other side of the field. And what makes it interesting is that Palmer actually executed a rugby pass. He lateraled it to somebody, and he didn't, Travis Kelce it, overarm, like football pass. He didn't option mechanics it. It was rugby mechanics. He gave a rugby pass to Ladd McConkey, I think. Now, it wasn't all good because whilst the rugby pass itself was good, he neglected to straighten the line, draw the last man in. Now, it wasn't even the last man. There's like 3 other guys who would have tackled him. But still, steps in the right direction, right? We've executed basic rugby passing mechanics. Now we just need to work on, okay, stop running side to side because you're drawing all the defense with you. You got to straighten the line, go north to south, then offload it outside you. But this is a step in the right direction.
That's Sam Monson at the33team.com. Available for rugby consultation for your team. If you're looking for an end-of-the-game play that does not involve Zeke Elliott getting pancaked and a play going to nowhere, Sam can help.
Yeah.
He can help with all rugby plays, both within the flow of the game and also at end-of-half situations.
Yeah, this was a big
step
in the right direction. Big step, but we still have a couple more things we need to iron out before. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.